Hello everyone, and welcome to another of my little videos. Today we'll be looking at a little oddity from 1995 in the strange spin-off for Virtua Fighter 2 known as the Virtua Fighter CG Portrait series, released only on the Sega Saturn in Japan. If you haven't clicked off the video by now, then you're probably thinking, what the hell is this video actually about and why should I bother watching? Well, instead of me answering that question with something that actively hooks you in and entices you to wait until the end with some sort of promise which I probably can't feel, why don't we just jump straight into the thing that I want to talk about. These are the Virtua Fighter CG Portrait series. They aren't games and they aren't movies. They aren't even music videos. Instead, they are a series of CG renders of the game's characters, set to various karaoke tunes. Yep, that's pretty much it. They made one for each character, and the sections which cut the galleries into videos were about 5 to 8 minutes long, and you thought, insert a popular FPS game, campaign was short. Japan has this thing about releasing this sort of video disc, but let's skip the cultural elements for now, as I don't think I could ever really understand it. According to this poster that was released, advertising the new series, they cost 1,280 yen, which is about a tenner. So they weren't too expensive really. Additionally, they promised to release both the Sara and Jackie discs on the same day, and that the CG would partially be taken from models by the upcoming Virtua Fighter 3. This partially explains why the series became popular. Virtua Fighter 2 was a big hit, and at the time, AM2 was creating some of the best 3D graphics in the arcade, and they was immensely proud of that fact. People couldn't wait to see their next evolution in 3D technology, so promising that this series would showcase the graphics that could be in Virtua Fighter 3 was a big deal. They also just wanted a chance to show off what they could do. No other gaming developer could create these kind of graphics at the time, and they knew it. Finally, the advert mentions the karaoke functionality, as well as the fact that they would plan to release a disc for each of the characters in Virtua Fighter 2, which they ended up doing. In fact, they even had a secret final disc for Dural, which you could only get by mailing all of the spine cards from the previous 10 discs to Saiga, who would return this one. Naturally, that one has become something of a rarity. So, now we know what they are, why don't we take a look at them? Let's have a bit of a marathon and work our way through all 11 discs. Shout out to iPlaySega, who ripped all of this and posted it on his channel, link in the description. We'll start with the one that came out first, the Volume 1 Sara Brian. The music they chose for Sara is a bright poppy tune and opens up on her stretching out her long kicking legs before a nicely rendered scene of an empty chair. You'll notice a theme emerging already, which they like to scroll some shapes across the photo before revealing it in all its glory. Despite being about Sara, it features a surprising amount of images of empty spaces. It of course features some images of Sara in a bikini, with the pictures getting closer and closer before revealing her in all her muscular prowess. Funnily enough, this is also one of the only in the series to feature 2 characters on screen at once. You'd think that as all they had to do was create interesting scenes with the cast of Virtua Fighter, they'd create more opportunities for mingling, but no, from here on out it's almost entirely a solo affair. Next up we have Jackie Bryant, which was also released the same day as Sara's. This one gets a more rocky pop tune sung by a man, because Jackie is a bad boy who don't play by nobody's rules. As you can see by his black jacket with a flame on it, he's nobody's prisoner. But wait, he's looking out of a window. That means he's deep and emotional. Don't worry for him though, he's got a nice red sports car that he drives solemnly around cobbled streets. They was very proud of this car model that they made, as it features quite prominently in Jackie's little adventure, as well as his Dalmatian, a loyal companion if ever I saw. Jackie's video ends with him doing a sexy librarian drop of the glasses. Now we've got one of the titular characters of Virtua Fighter in Part 3's Akira Yuki. This one is a little more interesting than some of the others, because it features a particular connection. It's well known that Shenmue was originally envisaged as a Virtua Fighter RPG, with the main character being Akira and portraying his time as a teenager. This video has some images which can be seen as an inspiration for Ryo in Shenmue, wearing similar clothes and looking quite canny for how Ryo ended up appearing in Shenmue. The rest of it is just him being a karate guy with a karate bandana. Volume 4 sees the focus be on Pai-chan, who gets the wonderfully titled Oh My Shining Star as her song of choice. Surprisingly, this one doesn't seem to feature too much fan service, starting off with her on a film set, then using a kettle, and then just pottering about a kitchen. Clearly this one is not going to pander to the fans, it's going to focus on her life as a warrior woman, a kung fu fighter, living life her way. Then the next image is her having a bath and then a shower. Stay classy, Sega. Volume 5 is the Wolfman himself, and he gets the groovy tune of Chain Reaction to show off his bulging biceps too. A lot of Wolf's pictures show him in a wrestling ring, slamming and fighting opponents. I think this was a pretty bad idea by the developers, because all it does is remind the viewer that these are characters from a fighting game, which they could be playing right now, instead of looking at pictures of them fight. Next up we've got Lao-chan, and he gets the funky Kim Iro no Ami to bop along to. It starts off with him looking pretty stern, silently judging you for buying a disc of pictures of him set to karaoke music. I don't have much to say about Lao-chan, it's just him being a martial arts guy at a temple. Volume 7 is the old Shundi, and Nick is a bit of an anthem for his tune, a soulful ballad, clearly showing his wisdom and age as he prances about a cave, showcasing his drunken master style to himself before falling asleep on a boat. Don't have much else to say about old Shun. Now we've got Lion Rafael, and if you thought that the developers were getting bored of making these by now, think again. They've gone back to their old tricks, with it starting off with Lion in a massively oversized bed, and pillows that look like they're missing a lot of their innards. He gallivants around in his luxurious lifestyle, flying in a private jet and doing other rich people things. It then shows him as a bit of an action man, before showcasing him giving flowers to one lucky lady. It's ninja time. Kage Maru gets something I swear I've heard from a 90s anime for his theme, and predictably, his scenes are just him being a ninja, doing ninja things around town, pulling ninja expressions with ninja poses, being a bit of a ninja if I'm honest. Ninja. Now, I may have said that Pai-chan and Sara's had a bit of fan service in it for the boys, but this one is for the ladies. Geoffrey Maguire gets the piano-laden love song, featuring him swimming around an island, topless, wearing a Rasta hat, pushing children on the swings, fighting sharks, and even stripping a boat. Look at this seagull, even the gull is enamoured. Finally, we've got the rare special disc for Dural, and this one gets a proper groovy bit of funk for the disco head itself. This one is probably the most technically impressive, featuring lots of scenes with interesting lighting and reflections. It's probably also the most boring, because apart from all the fancy colours, Dural doesn't really have a character, so there's nothing to see. Might as well be one of those magic eye paintings. So that was the Virtua Fighter CG Portrait series. Did you feel like you've just wasted your time watching me talk about that? I hope not, but you probably did. These actually sold pretty well apparently, so it seemed as if there was a market for them. Personally, I just can't understand it, but I guess it wasn't that expensive, and if you was a big fan of the series, maybe it was something that was interesting to you at the time. If you don't feel as if you've wasted your time clicking on this video, you can always subscribe, as I do make content sometimes that is slightly more informative than this one. Oh, and before I forget, there was also a couple of Game Gear versions of this series. Yes, they really existed. Goodbye!